This is really the beginning of the new quest of finding deeper into cinema, to storytelling, to human emotion. To me, there's nothing like getting into a dark room with a group of people and touching each other in the deeper level, in the emotional level, in the irrational level, to share the mystery of life that we don't dare to speak in real life. So that's my thing, my motivation. And now I see something new. I gotta get into this. I know it's very hard. Before this movie, I wanted to do a boxing movie. Obviously, with 24 in 3D, you cannot, you hardly can see anything. And as I was research for that movie, I haven't been able to make that because it's financial reason. It's expensive. My friend Dennis Murin, when I was checking ILM, we did Hulk together. He's a good friend of mine. Showed me something more than, before that I seen Hobbit, of course. And he showed me the James Cameron test on 60 frames. So that was eye-opening. When you raise frame rate, you see things more clear. A lot of what we do, like lighting, even performance, look funny. You have to make. I sort of found that in Pi. For lighting and making movie, there's not much I could do because I was making the most difficult film probably ever made. We got water, we got 3D, we got a kid and a tiger. It's basically survival. So forget about new thoughts and how we change things. But I did make adjustment to performance. I think 2D or 3D, when you see more clear, you just see more clear. When the frame rate allow the strobes lifted, it's like unveil. So a lot of movie magic, you have to rethink about it. And so that's really, it's a long, difficult, uphill road. We get to do this. Every day is a difficult day. We don't really know what we're doing because we're so programmed, we're brainwashed by how we make movies. The better you're a filmmaker you are, the kind of is worse for you to discover something new. A lot of things we always do, like focus pulling, performance, lighting, the screen, makeup. This movie, I don't dare to put on the makeup because you see it, except the cheerleader, that she has makeup on. Because you see through the skin, you see thoughts in the eyes. The way we used to look at each other in the movie, they look kind of dead. That doesn't really have life. In real life, when I'm talking to you, there are 20 thoughts go through my mind, same as you. It's very complicated, very lively, and I can see through the skin, to their countenance, how they feel. If you try to act, it looks like you try to act. If you put that light, or screen, it looks like somebody put a screen there, even though it looks pretty. Another thing is, a lot of aesthetic we do is to compensate the things we don't have. Like you get strobe, you do things to make that exciting. It's flat, so you cast shadow. That becomes the art itself. So how do I wrestle with that? But that's all I know, where's the new thing. That's terrifying and exciting at the same time.
And part of the motivation for going high frame rate, in Life of Pi, there's some scenes where he's on a life raft, and it's in the water, it's bouncing all around, and you can't see the actor's performance because there's so much motion blur on his face. The strobing is more annoying in 3D than it is in 2D, and so to compensate, people usually open up the shutter angle, so the shutter speed is even longer. And there are places where his performance was just lost in motion blur, and we did some artificial sharpening. And then thinking about a boxing movie, where boxers are moving all around, and you couldn't see their performance. You can see exciting action, or you can see performance, but you can't see them both at the same time. And that's what this format does, is you can have fast movement, but you can still read what the actor's doing and still get a feel for that experience. So, cutting in this format, again, it was. I mean, I still haven't seen the film in 2D. We've never watched it in 2D. We will sometime soon, I'm sure. To this day, I've only seen Life of Pi in 2D twice.
Well, we do want to make the most out of it, because it will have its own thing, whether it's at 24 or 120.
Yeah.
So we're actually very excited to see a different format, how we can make the most out of it. So it's a new, never seen before experience as well.
Everything about what we're doing is new. There's a lot of that has to happen, which is it's freeing. It's really exciting because we're experimenting all the time and just throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Like Tim mentioned, and Ang mentioned, we're frame blending, so we're taking that 120 frames per second and we're bringing it down to 24, or down to 30, or down to 60, or whatever the various delivery formats of the film would be. And we're able to do that in a way that gives more creative power to Ang and Tim, but then also it improves the technical end as well. We're seeing things like less noise when we take that footage and bring it down from 120 to 24 than if we had actually shot it at 24. We have the ability to change shutter angle in post, so we can add motion blur to just one part of the frame or just one character and leave the rest of it sharp, or vice versa. And it doesn't involve the use of expensive VFX and all the sort of pipeline that requires to make those sorts of creative choices happen. So we can iterate very, very quickly and refine the techniques of what we're doing. Sort of put the power back in Ang's hands, which is really where it should be.
It's rare that a filmmaker will come to us with a technological challenge that'll change a lot of different parts of the industry at once. Usually we'll push the boundaries on a VFX or something like that. But with this one, we were really pushing the boundaries lens to lens. And that became a very exciting proposition for us. And like you mentioned, it's a dramatic narrative. You hear about all this technology in a movie and you might think, oh, it's this giant VFX film, but it's really not. It's about storytelling, and what Ang's done with it, the technology is actually tremendous and very, very exciting. So,
Each step of the way, whether it's from 2K to 4K or to 60 frame, 100 frame, your mind functions differently. I would like to say the higher it goes, the smarter and more emotional you get. It literally is so, but you cannot even doing mathematical projection. Like I saw some bad acting in 60 frames in avid output from the actor. I said, oh, this is going to be like really horrific. When I see in 120, 4K, and I see it, it actually gets better. It's like it's a mystery. Till this day, I don't know why. I can say, oh, okay, maybe you guys get more information. Or I was wrong, I shouldn't accuse the actor of doing that before. Or whatever, it just has its own thing. Somehow you're more relaxed, but after the relaxation, you have like a euphoric, like good exhaustion. It's really exhausting. And I found myself less judgmental. It's more about experience. I go along with it. It's a different experience. And I don't know, once you go over 120, what experience is that? But I've experienced 24, 30, 62, 2K, 4K, all the way to what you see. It's all different experience. And I think when we issue different formats, we got to make the most. Like we're making a new movie to make the most of what people see. Sometimes art is not what you have, it's what you don't have. It's the compensation. And don't you worry, what you see is still far away from our eyes can see. Like, that's God's work. We're still like, you don't have to worry about it get so clear and ruin illusion. That's not going to happen. We'll be always chasing God's work, and we're not even close. So I have a very positive feeling about this. I think people just need to open it. Well, they will when they see it.